are battles in life that logic cannot explain. There are patterns that repeat themselves like invisible chains. There are doors that refuse to open no matter how qualified you are. And if you are sensitive in the spirit, you will understand that not every problem is physical. Not every delay is ordinary. Not every struggle is natural. Some battles are spiritual, and until you confront them spiritually, they will continue to resist you. You are not created to live under oppression. You are not designed to struggle endlessly. You were not sent to this earth to be a victim of unseen forces. You are a carrier of divine authority. And when spiritual authority is activated, every illegal influence must bow. There is power in consecration. There is mystery in obedience. There is revelation in prophetic action. Throughout scripture, oil has always symbolized separation unto God, empowerment, healing, and divine backing. When something is anointed, it is marked. When something is marked, it is distinguished. When something is distinguished, it carries heaven's signature. If there has been resistance around your life, your health, your progress, your mind, your family, tonight you rise with understanding. Anoint your head. The head represents authority, direction, and identity. Many battles start in the mind. Confusion, fear, negative cycles, self-doubt, tormenting thoughts. When you anoint your head, you are declaring that your mind belongs to God. You are sanctifying your thoughts. You are breaking the grip of mental oppression. Every whisper of defeat, every projection of failure, every arrow of confusion must lose its hold. You are not permitted to think small when heaven has called you great. Anoint your eyes. Some people are physically seeing, but spiritually blind. They cannot discern opportunities. They cannot recognize destiny helpers. They fall into the same traps repeatedly. When you anoint your eyes, you are asking for spiritual perception. You are declaring clarity. Every veil covering your discernment must tear. You will see traps before you enter them. You will see opportunities before they pass. You will no longer walk blindly into battles designed to weaken you. Anoint your ears, because what you hear shapes what you become. Negative words, spoken curses, repeated criticism, they settle in the heart and create invisible limitations. When you anoint your ears, you are rejecting every voice that is not aligned with God's purpose for you. Every evil pronouncement spoken consciously or unconsciously over your life must be silenced. From this day, you will only respond to truth, wisdom, and divine instruction. Anoint your mouth. Your words are powerful. Life and death reside in what you speak. Many people unknowingly reinforce their own captivity through their confession. When you anoint your mouth, you are dedicating your speech. You are declaring that your tongue will no longer agree with fear. It will no longer partner with defeat. It will no longer echo negativity. From now on, your mouth becomes an instrument of life, alignment, and authority. Anoint your hands. Your hands represent your work, your productivity, your creation. Some people labor but see no results. They try but encounter invisible resistance. When you anoint your hands, you are consecrating your efforts. You are declaring that whatever you touch will carry grace. Every embargo placed upon your productivity must lift. Every unseen force blocking the fruit of your labor must withdraw. Anoint your feet. Your feet symbolize movement and direction. Some people move but make no progress. They travel but remain stagnant. They start but never finish. When you anoint your feet, you are declaring that your steps are ordered. You are rejecting cycles of backwardness. Every path designed to derail you must close. From this moment, your movement produces advancement. Your journey produces results. Anoint your chest over your heart, because the heart is the seat of emotions, wounds, and hidden burdens. Many spiritual attacks manifest as heaviness, unexplained sadness, fear, anger, or anxiety. When you anoint your heart area, you are inviting divine healing. You are declaring that bitterness will not take root. Trauma will not define you. Emotional manipulation will not control you. Peace will guard your inner world. Understand this clearly. Oil itself is not magic. The power is not in the substance. The power is in the covenant you are aligning with and the faith you release. Prophetic actions are expressions of belief. And when belief aligns with divine authority, illegal spiritual activity cannot remain. Act in faith. Do not act in faith. Do not anoint as a ritual. Anoint with understanding. Speak boldly as you do it. Declare freedom. Declare restoration. Declare alignment. Darkness cannot negotiate with light. It must leave. And if you believe that your season of oppression is over, then do not remain passive. Rise. Take a moment of intentional consecration. Pray with authority. Speak with conviction. Act with faith. Refuse to accept cycles that do not reflect your divine identity. Mark your life with purpose. Mark your destiny with obedience. And watch every chain that was never permitted to hold you break under the weight of spiritual authority. What if the greatest lie you ever believed was that you are powerless? What if the frustration, the delay, the repeated cycles were never proof of your weakness, but evidence of the authority you carry? The moment you wake up to this truth, everything begins to shift. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not a helpless product of your background. You are not at the mercy of unseen forces. There is something inside you that was designed to dominate adversity, not bow to it. But authority is useless if it is not recognized. A lion raised among sheep may tremble at wolves, not because it lacks power, but because it lacks awareness. Many people move through life reacting instead of commanding. They react to bad news. They react to rejection. They react to fear. They react to opposition. But authority does not react. Authority responds. Authority stands. Authority declares. Authority refuses to be intimidated. The reason some battles seem prolonged is not because they are stronger than you, but because you have not yet stood up in your rightful position. Look at your life closely. The intensity of resistance around you is often proportional to the potential within you. Darkness does not fight what is empty. Opposition does not gather around someone who carries nothing. The pressure you feel is sometimes confirmation that you matter. The battle is not proof of your weakness. It is proof of your relevance. But here is the danger. If you consistently see yourself as a victim, you will unconsciously empower what is fighting you. Victim mentality speaks the language of surrender. It says, this always happens to me. It says, nothing ever changes. It says, maybe this is just my fate. And every time those words are repeated, you reinforce invisible chains. Authority begins with perspective. The moment you change how you see yourself, you change how life responds to you. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Begin to ask, what is this teaching me? How do I rise above this? Instead of shrinking back when pressure comes, train yourself to stand firm, not arrogantly, not emotionally, but confidently. You were given a mind to think, a voice to declare, hands to build, and feet to move forward. Those are not tools of a victim. Those are instruments of influence. When challenges arise, do not immediately assume defeat. Pause, breathe, realign your thoughts. Remind yourself that you are equipped for more than survival. Understand this. Authority does not mean you will never face resistance. It means resistance does not get the final word. Storms may come, but storms do not own the sky. Problems may appear, but problems do not define destiny. When you internalize that truth, something powerful happens inside you. Fear begins to lose volume. Stop waiting for external validation to confirm your worth. Stop waiting for perfect conditions before you stand tall. Authority is not given by applause. It is embraced by decision. The day you decide that you will no longer shrink, no longer apologize for your ambition, no longer accept cycles that drain you, is the day you begin walking differently. You may have been overlooked, underestimated, even misunderstood, but none of that cancels who you are. None of that reduces your capacity. None of that removes your right to rise. There is strength in you that has not yet been activated because you have been too busy doubting it. Refuse to shrink in environments that were meant to test you. Refuse to internalize labels that were spoken from ignorance. Refuse to carry identities that do not align with growth. Stand up internally before you stand up externally. Adjust your posture in your mind. See yourself as capable. See yourself as resilient. See yourself as someone who does not break under pressure but becomes refined by it. The shift begins when you stop asking for permission to be powerful and start accepting responsibility for your potential. What if the rare, son, nothing is shifting around you, is because nothing has shifted within you? What if the breakthrough you are praying for is waiting on the discipline you keep postponing? Power does not respond to wishful thinking. Power responds to alignment. There is a difference between wanting change and preparing for change. Many people desire elevation, but they resist separation. They want new levels, but they refuse new standards. They crave transformation, but they cling to old habits. Consecration is the bridge between desire and manifestation. It is the intentional decision to set yourself apart from distractions, from mediocrity, from everything that weakens your focus. You cannot carry extraordinary results with an ordinary mindset. You cannot expect clarity while feeding confusion. You cannot demand strength while entertaining weakness. When you consecrate yourself, you are making a bold statement. I refuse to live casually in a season that bernards intentionality. Consecration is not about isolation from people. It is about elevation in perspective. It is not about being perfect. It is about being purposeful. It is choosing discipline over impulse. It is choosing growth over comfort. It is choosing silence when noise is tempting. It is choosing preparation when procrastination feels easier. Every level of influence requires a higher level of responsibility. If you want your voice to matter, refine it. If you want your mind to be sharp, train it. If you want your life to reflect excellence, practice excellence in private. Power is built in unseen places. Authority is strengthened in hidden seasons. Think about it. Athletes train before competitions. Soldiers prepare before war. Students study before exams. Why should destiny be any different? Why should purpose respond to laziness? The things that truly matter demand intentional refinement. When you wake up early, ye to invest in your growth. That is consecration. When you guard your mind from toxic influences, that is consecration. When you refuse to speak negativity, even when frustration is loud, that is consecration. When you choose discipline over temporary pleasure, that is consecration. And something happens when you consistently make those choices. Your confidence increases, your clarity improves, your reactions mature. You begin to notice opportunities others miss because your senses are sharpened. You begin to make wiser decisions because your mind is no longer cluttered. Consecration creates focus. Focus creates momentum. Momentum creates results. The problem is that many people want sudden breakthroughs without gradual preparation. They want visible results without invisible sacrifice. But power is attracted to structure. It is sustained by consistency. It grows where commitment is honored daily. You cannot live carelessly and expect to walk in authority. You cannot feed on distraction and expect to produce excellence. You cannot entertain every impulse and expect to maintain discipline. If your life is going to rise, your standards must rise first. Ask yourself honestly, what habits are draining your strength? What environments are weakening your resolve? What conversations are polluting your focus? You cannot step into higher dimensions while dragging lower patterns behind you. Something must be surrendered for something greater to be sustained. Consecration may feel uncomfortable at first. It may require saying no when others say yes. It may require stepping back when others rush forward. It may require patience when impatience is screaming. But that discomfort is proof of growth. That resistance is evidence that you are stretching beyond your former limitations. You do not stumble into greatness. You align yourself with it. You prepare for it. You discipline. Eat yourself for it. Every time you resist laziness, you grow stronger. Every time you choose purpose over impulse, you become sharper. Every time you protect your time, your mind, your energy, you are activating a higher dimension of effectiveness. The level you desire is not reserved for the lucky. It is reserved for the prepared. And preparation is not an event. It is a lifestyle. What if the real battle was never around you, but within you? What if the greatest enemy you will ever face is not a person, not a system, not a situation, but an undisciplined mind? Before defeat shows up in your life, it first whispers in your thoughts. Before stagnation becomes visible, it begins as a silent agreement in your head. The mind is not just a thinking machine. It is a battlefield. Every day, voices compete for your attention. Some say you are not good enough. Some say you are too late. Some say others are ahead of you and you should slow down. If you are not careful, those voices will build strongholds. And strongholds are not physical prisons. They are mental limitations that feel real. The dangerous thing about mental battles is that no one else sees them. People see your smile, but they do not hear the doubt. They see your effort, but they do not see the internal fear. They see your ambition, but they do not see the quiet anxiety that tries to weaken your courage. If you lose in your mind, you will eventually lose in your actions. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions influence your decisions. Your decisions determine your direction. That means if your thoughts are corrupted by fear, comparison, insecurity, or negativity, your entire life begins to tilt in the wrong direction. You may still be moving, but you are moving under the weight of invisible resistance. The mind must be trained. It will not discipline itself automatically. If you allow every negative idea to settle, your confidence will slowly erode. If you rehearse past failures repeatedly, you will start expecting future ones. If you constantly compare yourself to others, you will minimize your own growth. Guard your mind like a gatekeeper guards a city. Not every thought deserves access. Not every opinion deserves attention. Not every criticism deserves a response. When a thought enters your head, question it. Does it empower me or weaken me? Does it align with growth or promote fear? Does it push me forward or pull me backward? Many people unknowingly partner with negativity because it feels familiar. They replay painful memories. They exaggerate small setbacks. They predict failure before even trying. And slowly, their mind becomes conditioned for defeat. But conditioning works both ways. If you can condition your mind for fear, you can also condition it for confidence. Start feeding your mind intentionally. Read things that expand your thinking. Listen to words that strengthen your belief. Surround yourself with conversations that challenge you to grow. What you consistently consume will eventually control you. A focused mind produces disciplined actions. A disciplined mind produces consistent results. There will be days when doubt tries to scream louder than faith. There will be moments when fear tries to paint vivid pictures of disaster. But remember this, a thought is not reality. A feeling is not a prophecy. Just because you think something does not mean it must manifest. You must learn to interrupt negative patterns. When your mind says, I cannot respond with evidence of times you did. When your mind says, it is impossible, remind yourself that progress often looks impossible at first. When your mind says, you are alone, remember that growth journeys are often lonely before they are celebrated. Mental discipline is strength. It is joy. Choosing calm when panic feels easier. It is choosing hope when discouragement knocks loudly. It is choosing focus when distractions multiply. You cannot control every situation, but you can control your interpretation of it. And interpretation shapes experience. If you conquer your mind, you change your life's trajectory. Because once your thoughts align with courage, your actions follow. Once your thinking aligns with possibility, your behavior shifts. Once your mind refuses to bow to fear, your life begins to reflect that inner victory. What if the breakthrough you are waiting for has been waiting for your words? What if the atmosphere around you is responding to the language you consistently release? Words are not empty sounds. Words are containers of belief. Words are carriers of direction. Long before you see change in your life, you will hear it in your mouth. Every day, you are prophesying without realizing it. When you say, I am tired of failing, your mind registers failure. When you say, nothing ever works for me, your focus searches for proof. When you say, this is too hard, your energy weakens. But when you say, I will grow through this, your strength rises. When you say, I am learning, your perspective shifts. When you say, I will find a way, your creativity activates. Your tongue may be small, but its influence is massive. Relationships are built or broken by words. Confidence is strengthened or shattered by words. Vision is clarified or clouded by words. You cannot consistently speak defeat and expect to walk in victory. Your mouth must align with the future you desire. Some people unknowingly curse their own progress. Not through rituals, not through enemies, but through repetition of negative confession. They rehearse their fears publicly. They magnify their limitations verbally. They downgrade themselves in conversations. Over time, those words become internal agreements. Words create identity. If you repeatedly say, I am not smart, your mind will avoid intellectual challenges. If you repeatedly say, I am unlucky, you will ignore opportunities. If you repeatedly say, I always mess things up, you will approach tasks with hesitation. But if you begin to declare growth, resilience, and capability, your behavior gradually adjusts to match that confession. There is power in deliberate speech. Speaking with intention forces your mind to focus. When you wake up and intentionally declare strength, you prime your mindset for endurance. When you speak hope during difficulty, you resist despair. When you affirm your purpose, you strengthen your direction. This does not mean you deny reality. It means you refuse to be dominated by it. There is a difference between acknowledging a challenge and surrendering to it. You can say, this is difficult, without saying, this will defeat me. You can admit, I am a failure. Language shapes emotional intensity. The way you frame a situation determines how you experience it. Guard your mouth, especially during frustration. In moments of anger, people often release words that weaken their own faith. In moments of disappointment, they speak conclusions that limit their future. But disciplined speech is strength. It is pausing before reacting. It is choosing clarity over chaos. It is replacing complaint with strategy. What you say about yourself matters deeply. The world may have opinions, but your internal narrative carries more weight. If you constantly criticize yourself, you train your mind to expect inadequacy. If you consistently encourage yourself, you build emotional resilience. Self-talk is powerful. It either builds inner stability or erodes it quietly. Also, be mindful of what you speak about others. Negative speech breeds negative energy. Constant gossip, constant criticism, constant comparison. These habits pollute your thinking and drain your focus. When your language is elevated, your mindset follows. Imagine speaking daily with conviction about your growth. Imagine declaring discipline over distraction. Imagine affirming patience instead of panic. Imagine consistently aligning your words with courage instead of fear. Over time, that repetition builds internal belief. And belief influences behavior. Your voice sets the tone for your life. If your words are weak, your confidence will be fragile. If your words are bold, your mindset will become firm. If your words are intentional, your direction will become clear. You are shaping your internal environment every time you open your mouth. What if the only thing standing between you and your next level is movement? What if stagnation is not a curse, but a consequence of hesitation? Many people pray for change, wish for change, talk about change, but they do not move. And without movement, nothing shifts. Stagnation is deceptive. It feels safe. It feels comfortable. It feels predictable. But beneath that comfort is quiet decay. Dreams slowly weaken. Confidence gradually fades. Motivation becomes fragile. The longer you stay still in a place that demands action, the heavier it becomes to start. Movement does not mean reckless action. It means intentional steps. It means refusing to let fear paralyze you. It means choosing progress over perfection. Too many people wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect resources. But perfection is often a disguise for procrastination. Every great journey begins with a decision to move. The first step may be small. It may not impress anyone. It may not even feel significant. But movement creates momentum. And momentum generates energy. When you act, even imperfectly, you signal to your mind that progress is possible. Fear thrives in stillness. When you sit too long analyzing risks, your imagination magnifies danger. When you delay action repeatedly, doubt grows louder. But once you move, clarity begins to appear. Solutions reveal themselves during action, not before it. At a locked door does not open because you stare at it. It opens when you turn the handle. A skill does not improve because you think about it. It improves when you practice. Confidence does not appear magically. It develops when you confront what intimidates you. Stagnation often disguises itself as caution. But there is a difference between wisdom and avoidance. Wisdom evaluates before moving. Avoidance invents excuses. Wisdom plans strategically. Avoidance waits endlessly. If you are honest with yourself, you will recognize when you are delaying out of fear rather than preparation. Movement breaks cycles. If you are stuck in negative habits, change your routine. If you are stuck in negative thinking, expose yourself to new knowledge. If you are stuck in toxic environments, create distance where possible. Even a small shift disrupts repetition. You do not need massive leaps to transform your life. You need consistent steps. Small daily actions compound over time. Reading a few pages daily builds knowledge. Practicing a skill daily builds mastery. Saving a little consistently builds stability. The power is not in intensity alone. It is in persistence. There will be discomfort. Movement stretches you. It forces you into unfamiliar territory. It exposes weaknesses that comfort was hiding. But that discomfort is growth in disguise. Muscles grow through resistance. Minds expand through challenge. Character strengthens through responsibility. Do not underestimate the power of starting. When you take the first step, your mindset shifts from dreaming to doing. You stop identifying as someone who wants to and start identifying as someone who is becoming. Action reshapes identity. And here is something powerful. Movement inspires courage. The more you act, the less intimidating action becomes. The more you confront fear, the smaller it appears. The more you step forward, the more you realize that many obstacles were mental exaggerations. Do not wait for motivation to strike before you move. Often, motivation follows action. Start tired if you must. Start unsure if you must. Start with limited knowledge if you must. Start with limited knowledge if you must. Start with limited, but start. Refuse to remain frozen in analysis. Refuse to remain trapped in overthinking. Progress belongs to those who dare to step even when the path is not fully visible. The journey unfolds as you walk. Opportunities appear as you engage. Strength develops as you endure. And every time you move forward intentionally, you weaken the grip of stagnation and strengthen the habit of advancement. What if belief alone is not enough? What if the reason many dreams remain dreams is because faith was never partnered with action? It is easy to say you believe. It is easy to feel inspired for a moment, but inspiration without implementation fades quickly. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision that expresses itself through movement. Many people confuse hope with faith. Hope wishes. Faith. Hope waits passively. Faith prepares actively. If you truly believe your life can change, your daily habits will reflect it. If you truly believe you are called to something greater, your discipline will show it. Belief that produces no action is simply comfort for the mind. Imagine saying you believe in success but refusing to learn new skills. Imagine declaring you are destined for growth but avoiding uncomfortable challenges. Imagine praying for opportunity but neglecting preparation. Faith is proven by steps taken when results are not yet visible. Action requires courage because action exposes you to risk. When you stay still, you can blame circumstances. When you move, you take responsibility. Responsibility is heavy, but it is powerful. It shifts you from being a spectator of your life to being a participant in it. There will be moments when you do not see immediate results. That is where real faith is tested. Can you continue working when applause is absent? Can you continue learning when progress feels slow? Can you continue building when no one notices? Faith persists even when evidence is delayed. Some people quit too early because they expected instant transformation. But growth is often gradual. Seeds do not become trees overnight. Muscles do not strengthen after one workout. Skills do not master themselves in a week. Faith understands process. Faith respects time. Faith commits to consistency. If you say you believe you can overcome fear, then confront small fears daily. If you say you believe you can succeed academically, then study with discipline. If you say you believe you can improve financially, then develop better financial habits. Your actions are the loudest expression of your belief system. There is also a discipline in alignment. Faith requires you to align your environment with your goals. If you believe in focus, reduce distractions. If you believe in health, adjust your routine. If you believe in excellence, raise your standards. You cannot declare one thing and practice another without creating internal conflict. Action also builds confidence. The more you act in alignment with your goals, the more evidence you give your mind that change is possible. Every completed task strengthens your identity. Every disciplined decision reinforces your belief. Confidence grows through repetition of aligned behavior. Do not wait until you feel fearless to act. Courage is built through action, not before it. The first step may feel uncomfortable. The second step may feel uncertain, but with each move, fear loses authority. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to recognize your resilience. Faith requires structure. Create plans. Set measurable goals. Track your progress. Evaluate your habits. Adjust when necessary. Faith is not chaotic emotion. It is focused commitment. It understands that results follow patterns. If you change your patterns consistently, you eventually change your outcomes. And when obstacles appear, do not interpret them as signs to retreat. Obstacles are often confirmation that you are stretching beyond your former limits. Instead of asking, why is this hard? Ask, how can I grow through this? Instead of withdrawing effort, increase intention. You cannot pray for strength and avoid responsibility. You cannot declare elevation and resist preparation. You cannot expect transformation while protecting old habits. Faith that transforms is faith that acts. Faith that acts. Faith that adjusts. Faith that adjusts. Faith that refuses to surrender to temporary discomfort.